Are you a vegan and you want to lose fat to look better, but you're confused from all the nutrition information out there that makes you think that as a vegan it's difficult to get enough protein, as a vegan it's difficult to bulk, carbs make you fat. It's understandable, there is a lot of information out there, but today I'm going to make nutrition more simple, and within the next days we're actually going to cover how to organize your calories and what are the nutrition phases that you would have to go through in order to lose fat and stay lean in order to build muscle. So the first phase that we're going to talk about is the caloric deficit. Okay, so there are actually two initial phases that you can choose from when it comes to seriously start your journey into change your body and look leaner, perhaps getting a six-pack, so you look amazing without a t-shirt. So there are two caloric approaches that you can have. One is a caloric deficit and the other one is a recomposition phase. Now, how do you choose between one or another? And we are going to talk about only one today. That's going to be how much fat you actually have. So what I do with my client usually is they send me their initial picture and I will assess their body fat from there. So if I see someone that has a belly, okay, that definitely means that it's over 15%, probably 20, 25 or even 30% body fat, and therefore we want to focus on losing fat first. We will go and do a caloric deficit. But if I have someone that doesn't really have a belly, but you cannot see the abs, or maybe you can see a little bit of abs, but there is fat, then it makes more sense to do a recomposition phase. The reason why it's better to do a recomposition phase rather than do a caloric deficit and focus on losing fat, the reason is because, especially with the people I work with, which are beginners and they want to start building a good amount of muscle, so to actually look really muscular, it makes sense to feel good in order to get stronger. Because when you do a caloric deficit, even though as a beginner you will build muscle, you will feel more hungry, you will have less energies. Instead, if you do a recomp which is a smaller caloric deficit, you will be able to feel much better and get stronger easier doing the workout. So again, caloric deficit for people that actually have a small belly, a big belly, or anything above. Recomposition is for these people that want to build serious muscle and they have just a little bit of fat. Maybe they have a flat belly but they don't see the abs, or they see a little bit of abs but they have still extra fat in order to actually have good definition. So caloric deficit for today. And now basically what a caloric deficit is and means is eating less calories than what you burn. You can do a caloric deficit in these different ways, but what I suggest you do is creating a caloric deficit that is not bigger than 600 calories. Okay, how do you calculate your daily caloric intake? It's very simple. Just go to any random calorie calculator, food tracking apps do this all the time. So just get that number. And you're going to say, is it going to be precise? No, it's not going to be precise, but we don't care because we're going to make changes over time. For now, just insert your measurements, everything that the app asks you. It's going to come up with a number. Okay, so here's one thing. Some of these apps will ask you how active you are. Something that I prefer to do is, instead of, saying there that I'm active or I'm super active, for my clients, I always go sedentary, so inactive. And I start from there. Then I will make changes over time. Of course, I'm more experienced, so I can adjust as I go. But as a general rule for you, I want you to select sedentary. And you will make adjustment after. You can increase your calories if you're more active and you're losing fat too quickly. But start with sedentary. So now you have your you have your daily caloric target that you have calculated through this app or website. Now what you're going to do is taking away 600 from that number. So you might go 2,500, which is what usually a man would burn throughout the day, and you're going to subtract 600. So your target is going to be 1,900 calories per day. How are you going to organize the diet in order to get enough protein? If you've been following me, you know that I don't care that much about protein intake. My experience and my small study with my clients has shown that it's not a big deal to eat less protein. You will be able to maintain and build muscle at the same time. By the way, yes, you as a beginner, if you have a proper training plan, are going to be able to build muscle even though you're doing a caloric deficit that focuses on losing fat. Why is it important not to focus on protein when you're actually losing fat? The reason being is that by eating more vegetables, right, more carbohydrates, you will be able, not any carbohydrate, I mean like fruit and vegetables. By focusing on, instead of eating tofu, protein shakes, and maybe seitan and fake meats and all of these substitutes that usually vegan coaches will suggest you, instead of focusing on that, focus on eating a lot of fruit and vegetables, because especially fruit is going to allow you to snack a lot throughout the day, and so you are actually eating a lot of food but not a lot of calories. So it makes staying on a diet to lose fat so much easier. Okay, so that's one thing. So how would I structure a day of eating if you are losing fat? So how would I structure a vegan day of eating if you want to lose fat? So first of all, I would use intermittent fasting, because that's going to create this habit where you just skip a meal in the morning. It's not a big deal. You're not going to feel too hungry after 1 or 2 days. It's just going to be a normal habit, and you're naturally going to be eating less calories that way. Then for lunch, I would have legumes with vegetables, maybe a little bit of starchy carbs, maybe nothing, depends. You can balance out and find yourself what's the best approach to it. Then my snack, I'm going to have fruit, like fruit, maybe 5 or 6 pieces of fruit. And 5-6 pieces of fruit might be only 600 calories, right? And you ate a whole bowl of fruit. So you see how much benefit you get by focusing on eating more fruit. It's just a matter of, not everyone is the same, but, for people like me that actually would probably like to eat any time during the day, so this is a great approach to eat more fruit and get a lot of calories from fruit. Then as a snack, I would also have even though high in calories, but we need to make sure that we get good fats. So I would have my portion of nuts. I would go for mixed nuts. Any nuts, any food always have a different level of minerals and good fats. So I like to mix and match. So Rahul, you come into my page saying, I'm proud to be vegetarian, and I'm going to tell you what are you proud of if vegetarian are abusing cows to get milk. Now get out of here. Once I said that, so we have the snack, fruits and nuts, and then we have dinner, right? So dinner literally is going to be the same of lunch. So we want vegetables, and we want some, legumes or tofu. This is another thing. This is something that I have implemented lately to increase the health benefits that I get from my diet. I never liked salads. I'm not a salad guy, but I believe that, raw food is very healthy. And so I started to implement basically a salad in the evening. Okay, so I have a raw meal, but anyway, it's the same thing than the lunch. You will have vegetables, legumes, and maybe some carbs like rice, some rice or pasta or bread. Right. So now, some other suggestions that I want to make in order to make your plant-based diet as healthy as possible when it comes to what vegetables you should be choosing. And this is, you want to have a portion of dark leafy greens in your diet. You want to implement mushrooms. And also, the last one would be cruciferous vegetables. Okay, so these are the three kind of type of vegetables that you want to make sure to include to optimize the health benefits, and overall just mix and match, right? So mix and match is also something that many nutritionists, plant-based nutritionists suggest. I guess it's just a way of making sure that you do the right choice by mixing and match different food choices, right? Instead of eating always lentils, no, one day you eat lentils, the other day chickpea, and the other one is going to be beans. So mix and match, and also find your favorite food. So I think so. This is how we organize a day of eating. And I think I covered it well. So now, you want to stick to your caloric deficit until you are shredded. So I would have this approach, and because as I said before, recomposition is one thing, but if we're trying, but because once you lost fat, it's easier to stay at shredded. Basically, it's easier to stay shredded. I would say, there is no point to stop your diet when you have you lose the belly. Stay on a diet until you get a fucking sick six-pack, and then from there you're going to increase the calories. As I said before, when you're trying to lose fat and when you're trying to calculate your calories, those calories might not be precise. The caloric target that you set might not be precise, and you're going to have to be doing some changes. How do you know if you need to do some changes? The easiest way to do it is by tracking your weight. Okay, you can do this Monday to Friday. You weigh yourself in the morning before toilet, so it needs to be kind of the same environment to weigh yourself, so it doesn't go up and down. Actually, it is going to go up and down, and that's why you need to weigh yourself Monday to Friday in the morning before toilet, and then you're going to consider the average of these 5 measurements. Very simple. Now, if you're trying to lose fat, your weight is going to go down. And for the people out there, they think, I don't want to lose weight because my goal is to build muscle. You need to understand that muscle is a slow process. So if you are genetically gifted, you will build 5 kilograms of muscle in 1 year. But that's genetically, that's not everyone. That's most people would build something more like 3 or 4. Some people more, but it depends. But 3 or 4 it's a realistic goal for maybe most people in their first year. And so you need to understand that building muscle happens much quicker. On the other side, if you're starting with a goal of losing fat because you want to look more defined, that's going to happen quick. Like in a 6 months time, my client that focus on losing fat first will lose anywhere between 13 and 17 kilograms of fat. So you see that it is a huge, it's unproportioned, right? The rate at which you can lose fat and the rate at which you can build muscle. So again, the weight needs to go down. Therefore, this is your indication that eventually you need to drop your caloric target. So very straightforward, okay? There is no magic and weird things about this, even though you heard people on wherever telling you that, I got thyroid, or I got slow metabolism, I have, I don't know. So if you eat less calories, you're going to lose fat. Point, period. There's no questions to be made about this, okay? So if you're not losing fat, you need to drop your calories. Or maybe you need to track your calories better, because some people, what they do is they think they're following their diet, but they maybe snack on peanuts, they snack on fatty food, and they add 200, 300, 400 calories without even realizing it. So they think they're doing a caloric deficit, but they are not. Another very important thing of your fat loss journey and overall your fitness journey and health journey is going to be movement. So as we said at the beginning, we're going to start calculating the calories as you would be a sedentary person, right? And most people actually are sedentary. Like a lot of people have office jobs, and if you are unlucky to have a job that forces you to sit all day, then you need to make sure that you do some minimal movement during the day. Otherwise, you will have to drop the calories too much, actually, in order to get to a calorie deficit, and you won't get enough nutrients into your diet, and you will feel like shit, right? So it's important to, I like to suggest 8,000 steps per day. 8,000 steps per day is about 1 hour walking. It doesn't have to be all together, just 8,000 steps per day. I also suggest you don't get crazy with tracking your steps. Just have an understanding of how much you need to move throughout the day. Maybe you have a dog and you walk the dog in the morning, in the evening, and that's done, and that's it, right? So don't get crazy on numbers. You want to create habits. You do not want to rely on Apple Watch and all of these tracking apps. So that's kind of the minimum movement that you want to do. But the key would be actually true cardio. So anything that's moderate or intense cardio, but it is steady, low intensity cardio, is going to speed up also your fat loss journey a lot, because that might allow you to create a bigger caloric deficit without having to drop the calories. So you're still getting some food in, but you're burning more. Okay, still be careful on how you're feeling, because a caloric deficit that is bigger than 600 calories per day, it might get you feel anxious, you don't sleep well, you're hungry all the time, and then you start snacking more, so you cannot stick with your diet. Okay, so be careful on how quickly you are losing fat. A good rate of fat loss is going to be 0.5 kilogram per week. Okay, if you're losing more, it's fine. Okay, if you're losing more than that, it's fine, but keep in mind that it is a faster rate. So if you start feeling anxious and too hungry, and you don't sleep, and your energy levels are low, consider that you may want to slow down a little bit, increase a little bit your calories, and be patient. Over time, you will get to your goals anyway. So we covered a lot already. The last thing that I want to cover is, there is also another way of measuring your progress, and that would be a fat caliper. Actually, I'm going to pick it up for you. I have it. Which is this. Okay, so basically what you do, okay, let me quickly explain how to use this. Let me know in the comment if you want a full tutorial on how to measure your fat with this. By the way, I'm just going to do a quick one now. So you will find tutorials where they tell you to take the measurement in different points of the body. So now that's a way of actually calculating your body fat, okay? Well, at least this is what they say. And I'm saying this because if you do go online, you will notice that using different measurements give a different results. So it's just madness. But we don't care. We don't care actually about your body fat number. That's not something that you should be caring about really. For this, like as a way of measuring. Why? Because if you do take measurement in different points, you have 3 chances to make mistakes. Okay? So using this is already difficult, even though you can easily learn it by yourself. But anyway, it does have how do you say? There is always going to be a degree of mistake when you're using this. So imagine you do mistake 3 times. When you get the results, it goes up and down. You don't really have control over it. Instead, what I do is just taking the measurements on my abdominal. Okay, so that's one measurement. Yes, I can make mistake there, but it's more linear, and that's it. All you want to know is that your abdominal measuring is going down. That means that you're losing fat. Okay, so that's done with the measurement part. I think this is the last point, and I think here's the thing: like a lot of coaches tell you that there is a sustainable way to kind of eating to lose fat. Something like this is how you're going to eat in the future. And there is a degree of true in that, but also we need to understand that when you're not going to live in a caloric deficit. So however you put it, losing fat is not going to be an enjoyable journey. Okay, you're going to be feeling more hungry, and you need to be disciplined to stick to your calories. Okay, but anyway, I would say that something that has been helping me a lot throughout my journey and help my clients, being disciplined to their diet while having some freedom to eat that favorite food, helps you stick with your diet. And so this is going to be what I call, well, many people call it cheat day, right? So I think it's very important to create some flexibility inside of your nutritional habits. Everyone is different in this. I actually learned that most vegans are not really like me. Like most people, actually, most vegans I know, they don't drink alcohol. They don't necessarily like a lot of processed food. So the amount of calories that you will need inside of your cheat days will vary. However, the way I organize cheat day with me and my clients, it's basically this. Now, let's say you have created a 600 calories deficit for your daily target. Okay. Usually what I do is I kind of take away 200 calories from that deficit. Okay. And I will add it into one day. Okay. So this way, we have a day that's going to be 2,500 calories. So let's say is a day when we're not doing the caloric deficit, and I will add to this day the 200 calories that I've taken away from the other 6 days. So 6 multiplied by 200 is going to be 1,200. So the cheat days will come up to 3,700 calories. Now, what I was saying before makes sense now, because 3,700 calories are a lot. I learned that with my clients that most people don't actually need a cheat day of 3,700 calories. I do. I need more. I probably need more, especially if I'm drinking. So here's the thing. So what you can do is doing that math. Play around with the numbers, okay? You maybe take only 100 calories instead of 200. You can play around with the numbers a little. And what you want to do is just making, tracking your cheat day. And make an example of what you're doing. Are you going to a restaurant and eating a pizza? Track your food into one food tracking app. So you can have an idea of what's your allowance during your cheat day. But guys, the overall goal of a cheat day is having freedom. Now here's the thing. There is an essential difference, I think, between you being on a caloric deficit or you being in a period of just eating enough food to feel good, feel healthy, and getting stronger at the gym so you can build muscle over time. And the main difference is, I think, that during a caloric deficit, you want to be as precise as possible. Okay? You want to make sure that you're hitting your calories and you're not overeating, because you don't want to be on a diet forever. You want this to be as fast as possible, and then finally increasing your calories, eating enough food, feeling good, get stronger, and build muscle. So what does it mean? It means, I don't know, it means that maybe if you can track almost every day, making sure you know exactly the portions that you're eating, and maybe during the cheat day, track everything that you're doing, okay? Because again, being on a calorie deficit will give you some degree, for different people is different, some degree of feeling more tired and more anxious, right? So imagine how much more anxious you're going to be if you stay on a diet and then you don't lose fat, right? So these two things really don't go well together. So you need to be as precise as possible when you're trying to lose fat. in order for you to actually achieve your goals and forget about dieting. Hopefully. The goal is not dieting anymore. And we're going to talk about that in the next episodes. So we will cover this week, we will cover the recomposition phase, and then the main gaining and muscle building phase. For the ones that are online right now, do you have any questions that I have an answer to? I think one of the questions that I read was, what about food tracking apps? And yeah, absolutely. You should be using food tracking apps in different ways. You know, one way is to just be flexible within your diet. You know, just eat whatever and still stay on a caloric deficit. And the other way is kind of creating a daily menu and save it in your tracking app. This way, you know in what portion you're eating different categories of food. And if you have to do small changes, you already have your day of eating there, and it's easy to adjust. Did I cover everything? Before I leave, I want to think a bit. Did I cover everything? No, we don't have good feedback from there. But I think I did cover everything. And I hope this was helpful, guys. Please let me know in the comment if there is something specific you want me to cover when it comes to lose fat and build muscle. This week we're going to be focusing on the nutrition part, more specifically like how you should be organizing your calories. And remember that is not about perfection, but is about taking action, and taking action the right way. And then everyone makes mistakes, and oftentimes mistakes don't affect your progress. Okay, so as I said before, be as precise as possible with eating your calories, and allow yourself to be patient and get, and results will come eventually. I think that was all, guys. If you also need more specific help to achieve the physique you want on a plant-based diet, I am a calisthenics coach, and I help vegan men build muscle so they can feel more confident about their body shirtless. If that's something you want to do, just drop me a DM saying I'm in, and I'll talk you through my coaching program. Thanks for watching. Let's say goodbye to the people that are live now. Garima, Sebastian, Chen, Jan Corneille, Musa, Ariana, and Region Belgique. I know that's not your name, but that's what I see. I'll see you in the next one.